Today there's a very, very good reason why I'm here at Waverton and Wollstonecraft train stations just north of Sydney, just round about the North Sydney area. I can literally see the Sydney Harbour Bridge in front of me. Look at that view. You see, if you follow Google Earth and Google Maps from up above and look down and follow the train line from up above, right, you'll see that literally this part of the Sydney train network is extremely bendy. Now you're probably wondering, what is this thing in my left hand? Well, it is a decibel sound meter. It's basically going to tell me how loud the trains are on these really, really curvy bits of the track. This side of the platform has these TV screens for the guard and the driver to see if there's anyone, trapped in a door, for example, right, before the train leaves. It doesn't really help the new Waratah trains because the guards are actually on the back carriage as opposed to the older trains, which the guard was in the middle. But look, that's just too much information. Basically, this bit of track onwards to Wollstonecraft is extremely curvy and extremely loud, apparently, according to media reports from A Current Affair and other news sources over the years.
These people are at their wits' end over a noisy neighbour that's getting louder.
I have to delay when I speak to people because when I talk to them, this goes over the top of every conversation.
The screeching trains are sending him off the rails, but we move 10 metres away to escape the dog.
And as the train comes around, then travels down about, you can hear it going street, street, street. And that is damaging.
I have no idea what he said.
The noise is just so bad you can't hear each other speak.
14 years ago, this couple derailed over another train issue.
Stand clear. Doors closing.
Back then, she told us that announcement would happen hundreds of times a day.
Stand clear, doors closing.
She took legal action and they turned the volume down.
So we're going to be determining how loud are these trains? Are the neighbours justified for being upset about the noise? This should be interesting. I've literally wanted to make this video for years, and I've had this for years. Today's the day. So this weird little train line right here goes to a dead end. It just stops right there, right? But what exactly is this line used for? Well, it goes down there, and it's pretty much called the Lavender Bay train line. It's where trains used to go to before the Sydney Harbour Bridge even existed. And speaking of, there it is right there. And just to prove that trains do use this side track, there you go. There's one right here. Wait to go back to Sydney or go home for the night, one or the other. It just goes to show how curvy this platform is. They need screens, they definitely need screens, but here comes the train now. Can we hear any noise from this train? Excessive noise? Out of all the years that I've been coming on these trains past these stations, I've never gotten off here at Waverton before. Look at this tunnel view. We're gonna have to get a shot. Let's go on. Okay, so I think I've just found an absolutely magnificent view. Yes, you can see the Sydney Harbour Bridge behind me, but no, this is not what I wanted to show you. Get ready for this. Wow. I'm a bit of a train buff, as you can tell, right? That was actually really awesome. I've never seen this view before my whole life. All the years that I've been through this tunnel, I've only seen it from the train's perspective, never from up above, right? And they even have some old-fashioned train signs here, train boards that you flick over. But you can't flick them anymore. It's like there's a glass, protective glass behind them. But if I slowly do it, you can actually see from the side it moves, right? But look, we haven't come here to do some sightseeing. Well, maybe a little bit. It's time to do the test for this little section. How loud is it? Let's have a look. Really not too bad at the moment. It's not too bad in this section. Okay, hold on just a second, right? Just a sec. We need to understand what these numbers represent before we can understand what these numbers represent. We need to take a more scientific approach. Have a look at this. This is a decibel scale chart, right? On the very bottom of the scale, we've got 0 decibels in yellow-ish, and on the very top is the loudest, right? With 140. Literally, look what it says on the top. The threshold of pain. Fireworks is at the very, very top with 104 decibels. So what exactly are the people complaining about? How loud is too loud for them? Well, looking at this article, this sharp 200-meter rail curve in the area creates intense friction between the train wheels and tracks, generating noise levels that often exceed 80 decibels. All right. So they're upset about 80 decibels and above, it would seem. Let's go back to our chart. Looking at 80 decibels says very loud in the very middle, right? So anything from 80 below should be okay because they're complaining about it exceeds 80, right? So 80 would be a truck, 70 would be a car, 60 is a conversation. So just for a second, think about people that live near airports, what they have to deal with airplanes, right? Jet engines. It's the second from the top. 130 decibels. So I don't think it's going to be that bad. We'll find out. So we are going to be focusing between the two stations of Waverton and Wollstonecraft for this video. We'll go to Wollstonecraft now and then slowly walk back here and see what we can find with some interesting shots and some interesting measurements. I feel like a scientist. All I need is a white coat now. All right, let's jump on.
Please stand clear.
Next stop is Wollstonecraft. Wollstonecraft is the next stop. Customers, kindly please mind the government boarding in a line. The next stop is Wollstonecraft, followed by 7 minutes.
I mean, these tracks are so curvy that we can literally see the front of the train, right? So this is going to be interesting. Getting a sound meter, probably on that bridge. And you can actually hear the sound screeching, right? What's it going to be? We'll have to work it out. And that's a really, really tight curve. As this train starts to leave, just in front of me is a map. Let's have a look. Just in case I haven't shown you what it looks like from up above on the maps yet. I mean, this map basically says it all, right? Here we are right now. This is the station, Wollstonecraft, right? You can see how curvy this track is. And it pretty much straightens out just up here, and it's pretty much back to normal from this point onwards. But of course, going back down to where we are, look at that. So curvy. All the way down to Waverton where we just were, right? This section is the worst section. This is the section where the Neighbours all around here. are really pissed off. Is it justified? We will definitely find out. Now, unlike Waverton, which had TVs on one platform, I'm pretty sure, there are TVs on both platforms to show the guards on the train if there's someone falling off or, you know, someone stuck in the doors, right? Look at all the TVs on this platform down there. Can you see them all? All right, this is interesting. So we're literally going to walk to the very end of this platform, the side of the platform away from Sydney, the side away from the bridge. We're going to get a reading as the train pulls in. This should be interesting. Honestly, not too bad at the moment. We're gonna wait for the other train on this track and see what we can find out. Now look, I bought this thing, a few years ago from Amazon, I think, pretty cheap. I'm not claiming that this thing's gonna be 100% accurate. In fact, it could be off by 1.5 decibels, apparently. That's apparently how these things go. Some can go 1.5 decibels up, others could be 1.5 decibels down. Or more of dodgy, so take it with a grain of salt. And as a train comes from behind me, you're not going to believe this. There's actually a bush turkey scratching in the leaves below, looking for some worms. That is pretty cool. Now by pushing the max button, whatever the max volume is, it should show me constantly whatever that volume is, right? Fingers crossed. Approximately 75 to 78. Okay. So my goal in making this video isn't to side with the train company or to side with the neighbours that are complaining. It's just an interesting experiment that I wanted to do for a long time, because I'm out and about and I've got this ready. I found it for the first time. Literally, this has been inside my studio compartments behind my head while I was making daily videos on my channel too. I've stopped making those daily videos at the moment due to it not being as successful as I thought it would be. We will eventually get back into it, perhaps doing something slightly different to get maybe more views, but that's for another day, right? All right, on the other side of the platform is this bridge. Let's jump on top and see what we can find. Here comes the train, literally in front of me. Not too bad. I think we really need to be in an area where the train's actually picking up a lot of speed. So from this point onwards, we're going to literally walk all the way down back to where we started, right? Making our way down to a bridge that way. Okay, I think we see it. Let's go check it out. Anyone wanting to know exactly where I am, this is actually really interesting because this bridge goes to a bunch of houses and it's a no-through road. So it's like a cul-de-sac. And the only way to get out of the cul-de-sac is to basically come back over the bridge. It's like these residents have a pretty exclusive little street and exclusive bridge that's just kind of built for them actually. Wild when you think about it. This should be interesting. And speaking of exclusive, look at the view that these neighbours must have. That's Sydney Tower on the left. And just to the right, just looked at Google Maps to see what these people's houses look like. Yeah, very fancy. Are they justified though to complain about the noise? We are a bit closer to the tunnel that we went through to come to Wollstonecraft, right? From Waverton. Let's have a look. These trains will be speeding along. This should be interesting. Here comes the train right now. I'm gonna give this as good as a chance as I possibly can by walking to the source. Wow, that was as good as a shot as I could possibly get. Two trains came past at the exact same time. So because it's on 79, that just proves that it's on the max button right now to basically show us what the max sound was. If I scream into this thing, it should be louder. 98, so yeah. Wow, I actually expected louder. You can hear the trains down there. Let's have a bit of a look, right? This is really, really steep, by the way. Wow. You want to know something absolutely beautiful? Truly unique and beautiful? Wow. Beautiful. As if I needed to know that. Thank you. This is such a unique area in Sydney. I had no idea that a place like this even existed so close to Sydney. Very cool. The train line is just literally behind those trees. And that's where the sewage goes. When the shit hits the fan, oh, I did it. Pun intended. Just up there. Let's get a better view. Just to show you how random this area is, these people have a direct view of the train tracks. A Blair Witch Project doll in the tree. Bush turkeys making holes in the floor everywhere. And that's where the sewage goes. Let's get some sound of the train line. Really, that's not terrible, is it? Well, that was my voice then, but it was 72, wasn't it? And by the way, you know how American tourists say, don't ever come to Australia, it's the most dangerous place on earth. Snakes, spiders, and even the kangaroos and drop bears will probably kill you. Well, most of the time it's bullshit, right? Until you come across this thing. Yes, this thing is absolutely freaking huge. Oh my god. This is my hand for comparison. I'm gonna put my hand through, like, the web is so weird, right? I gotta put my hand through the web over here to show you a comparison. Oh my god. This guy, this female, whatever he is, whatever this thing is, I don't know if he's poisonous, but he is absolutely huge. Okay, I'll leave you alone now. And can we just appreciate how dodgy these steps are? Oh my god. Don't know if you can hear the trains. Don't know if you can hear the train down there, but if we go through this park right here, it should take us to that shortish but still impressive tunnel at Waverton. Let's have a look. And just slightly turning right onto the grass. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty. You see what I mean? Just over there, and even down there. I think this used to be like a driveway at some point, but it's definitely not now. Oh, is that the tunnel? Oh my God, if you look closely down there, you can see the actual tunnel. And there's a train coming. I'll get my sound meter out after this. I'm gonna be honest, there's no real sound complaint from me so far. Obviously, I don't live here, but we know that the train company, Sydney Trains, have actually been doing major improvements over the years to fix this line up and make it actually quieter. Why were they doing that? Out of the kindness of their heart? Oh no, they were taken to court and forced to. Let's have a look at this. So I'm not gonna get any closer than this, otherwise I might unintentionally off myself. But I mean, this is pretty good. The tunnel's just over there. We will be on top of the tunnel in a second and get a shot from that perspective, but let's see how loud this is. I think there's 2 trains coming right now. This will be really interesting. The other one was about 30 seconds or so away, but there you go. 79. It's not a lot. Have the rail network improved it so much so that it's now acceptable? It's possible. So that red brick building is just where I was, right? Down here might have potential. And look at this, look on the right hand side. There's flowers and a little grave site for, I'm guessing, someone's pet animal. That is very sad. I'm someone who's had a lot of animals my whole life, and every time the unfortunate thing happens, right, with old age, it's always been up to me to dig holes in my garden to bury them. Yeah, it's very sad, 100%. This is a really beautiful area, so just literally walking down here, which is probably an access point for the train people. Look at this. Okay, definitely retesting. But also look at this in front of me. Someone's got some signs up. As well as this weird looking gutter water drainage system. But look at the sign here. Keep out. Protected endangered plants. What? How interesting. This is a very strange thing. Oh my God, I do not want to drop my phone down there. No freaking way. Okay, so I've taken my sunnies off. Yes, it's pretty dark with the trees above me, but look, there's the tunnel right there. The people are just either side of me. This isn't very loud. Is it perhaps because of people overly complaining about things that isn't true? Or is it because the Sydney train network has already implemented technologies to lower the sound? I'm not too sure. I wasn't here to do this 3 years ago, 5 years ago, unfortunately. Can we just appreciate for a second how amazing this shot's gonna be? 74 is the highest. It's only going high now because I'm talking. Wow. Alright, so I'm finally on the other end of the park, and this is an amazing view. I'm basically standing on top of the tunnel any moment now. And there's even a chair there. Oh my god. That's awesome. Now you're probably wondering, surely this problem can't be that bad. Oh. I didn't click the high point then, but I think it was on 70 something. Okay, so there was a 2021 studies and EPA regulatory action regarding this problem, right? The EPA determined that Sydney trains had not performed adequate maintenance, which had resulted in increased noise apparently. Now the EPA subsequently issued Sydney trains with a penalty infringement notice. But reading on a bit more, the Sydney trains maintenance and rectification works have been taken place, right? Sydney trains have tried to make this quieter. So what have they been doing since it was deemed too loud for the Neighbours? Well, they've been realigning a section of standard carbon rail track with head hardened rail. I'm not too sure what that is, but I'm guessing the head of the rail is actually hardened extra. Less noise perhaps, I'm not really sure, but anyway, rail milling and rail grinding to correct rail profiles, right? Installing additional top of rail friction modification units, adjusting the rate of change in height between the two rail lines in one of the curve along the section, implementing a 5-monthly rail grinding frequency and monitoring results to establish best practice. So every 5 months they come down here and grind the rails to get rid of any little imperfections, right? To try and keep the noise as low as possible, as best as possible, right?
They pump up a little bit of a lubricant which goes on top of the track.
Sydney Trains thought they had a solution, but residents say it does little as the oil drips off the line and onto the ballast.
Can we do something about this?
There is noise-reducing technology used in Europe. This noisy train in Barcelona is satisfyingly quiet the next day on the same spot following treatment. If only they'd use it here, say residents. Because in an effort to sleep, many have had to double glaze their windows and doors.
About $80,000. You have to do that to sleep.
And all these flats and apartments are literally on top of this tunnel right now. That's where we've just come from. But if we slowly turn around here, as I was walking here, I was kind of shocked about how amazing this view is. Wow. Sydney is definitely one of the most beautiful cities on earth. And here comes a train from Waverton right now. And that's pretty much where we started. Just over there. And that's Waverton Station again, that's where we just were. Look at this. This is in some sort of community gardens. They've got these photos of these old trains or old pictures of the area. Look at that. And just over here, like I said, community gardens. There's a seat just here. And just on the other side of this fence is the tunnel around the track, right? Got some really nice community gardens here. Look at all that. Very cool. And if you wanted to know where the name Waverton came from, there you go right there. Feel free to pause it if you want. And we're officially back where this story and conclusion began. Well, it's the conclusion now, right? So what's my thoughts? What's the end result of the situation? Do I think it is too noisy for the residents living here? Well, let me put it from my perspective. I love trains, right? I'm a huge train buff, bit of a rail foamer from the mouth, right? I would personally love to live with an amazing view of not only the trains, right, but of course the ocean and the everything. I would absolutely love that, but it have to be with the trains as well. So I personally wouldn't find it too loud. However, if I would have come here maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago, would it have been too loud for me then? Maybe, because let's face it, there were some guard announcements. Stand clear from the doors, right? And they took them to court and they lowered the volume. Once again, if you guys like this video, do give us a like and subscribe if you think I'm deserving of it. I've been tall. My name's Gareth. Love you and leave you. See ya.